Are we on? We are on. Welcome back to the Fuller Fight Factor Live, where today I will be joined once again by a man I haven't seen in a couple years, but he's an awesome human being. My brother from another mother, Bryce Mahoney. Say hi to the people.
What's up, people?
All right, real quick, we are brought to you by the MMAcorner.com, your home for all things MMA, as well as ADCC North America. They just wrapped up the first set of World Trot qualifiers in West Virginia in December, and with a little luck, we should be doing another one later this year somewhere in the western part of the country. So really excited that. That's for people qualifying to go to Worlds in the fall in Brazil. So with that out of the way, let me introduce once again Bryce Mahoney, veteran, TV star, jiu-jitsu practitioner, hemp enthusiast, extraordinaire.
Yes, all of those.
Did I miss anything? Self-proclaimed Huguenot.
I think that's my favorite.
All right, well, let's just kick it off. Let's talk about The Operatives. It was if I understand right, it's a TV show that takes veterans and puts them in, these austere and unique environments to combat poaching and environmental crime in different parts. So just, go from there. Tell us about your experience and what you can tell me about that.
Pretty good sum of The Operatives. Basically, things are happening in our oceans, in our jungles, all over the world, and there's activists out there working on it. And tactics and things, for some of them, aren't working. And this was a great idea to bridge military tactics and somebody that had a huge wealth of knowledge of what's really going on in the world, in our oceans and stuff. So it was a pretty epic 3 months down in Costa Rica. I'll never forget it, that's for sure.
And they're working on a second one, too, for Southeast Asia. Are you going to be a part of that at all?
I am not going to be a part of that one, no.
Are they putting a whole new team together, or maybe did you have the opportunity, or how'd that work out?
I believe that they are keeping two, Pete, the captain, and Matt, and then another guy, Jack, from the original, will be there. And some of the existing crew is part of it as well, but then they're gonna pick up 3 new guys, or they have picked up 3 new people to facilitate the other spaces on the team. So I'm super excited to hear how it goes for them. It's unfortunate that I couldn't be a part of it, but those reasons come and go.
Yeah. And now that you've done that, is there any other similar type projects you're working on, or has anyone reached out to you about doing anything like that, either not just television based, but just conservation based?
Not right now. My fiance Carissa, her company is getting heavily involved in activism, conservation, especially around the globe, utilizing drones. And I'm hoping to be a part of that in some way. That's what I can do now, for sure.
What company is that, and do you know how they plan on implementing that? Is it like something they're just thinking of right now, or are they gonna do they have something in set with a date and an action plan?
The company is Precision, and as far as any other knowledge, I would want to get with Matt, and I've heard kind of the direction that they want to go in, and specifics I'm not completely sure.
Yeah.
But it's gaining ground. People are noticing, and people are seeing a facility needed, and they're needing it. So it's pretty cool to see the development of this.
Yeah. Now, one thing I noticed is something like the show The Operatives. It was on an obscure channel, but it was definitely something people put a lot of time and effort and money into producing. But it seems like they kind of dropped the ball on getting more of like a grassroots social media movement. I mean, there's almost no photos. There's 0 videos on the Facebook page. It seems like something that there's so much content you could be sharing to try and just get more people aware and interested in what you're doing, but they kind of really didn't do that too much.
Yeah, that was, I definitely agree with you there. I got to give props to Brian Mead, the producer. He was pretty much, I mean, he was a one-man show, and this was a huge project for him. And he had a great camera crew, he had a great sound crew that really stepped up and helped him produce and cut and edit all of the episodes. And it's just unfortunate that so much focus had to be put on making this show what it is that everything else kind of fell to the wayside. And I think they're gonna definitely account for that this season. I mean, everything's a learning experience, and Brian's a really smart guy, and he's definitely learned from his mistakes.
Yeah.
From what I talked to him, this second season's gonna be pretty awesome for him.
Just mixing a little Sailor Jerry, as is my nature. Now, you get bonus points if you know what this is.
The gavel.
Oh, come on. Haven't you ever been to East Africa?
Sorry. East Africa. It looked like a gavel.
Yeah.
I was like, why do you have a gavel?
No. That's great. I picked this up they had this one in Uganda. I don't know, instead of picking it up like this, it sort of just levers it off like that, so.
It's just a Ugandan bottle opener.
Pretty much. It's just a carved piece of wood with a fucking, look at this. It's just a screw in there. That's the tool right there.
I can go get a flip-flop bottle opener from Mexico.
I got some flip-flop bottle openers over here somewhere, They're come on every pair of reefs. Now, are you still working with Addy and the Green Gi at all? Is that something you're still involved with?
No, because of the show and the time framing of going down there on that, I kind of pulled away. I try to help as much as possible, social media wise, and spreading the word and everything. But I'm not really involved with it anymore.
And I'm sure you still have a good relationship with her and everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Addie and everybody else involved. I mean, that experience alone was amazing for me. Just to kind of see somebody's passion like that, and then put everything into it, regardless of the outcome. That's just amazing to me.
Yeah. But you're still actively competing, right? I see you're always putting medals up, so I'm assuming they're new medals.
Yeah. Well, I took a little while off. Just schedule didn't line up a lot last year, and I was battling a pretty bad injury. But I did compete last week in Greensboro. I got to admit, I'm over 30. I don't play that men's game anymore. Still had some tough matches, and just had fun, man. I love going to U.S. grappling events, man. They are so much fun. The people that run those events and being able to ref now and everything, it's one of my favorite Saturdays whenever they come up.
Yeah, and they're pretty more active in that Mid-Atlantic area, right, than most other people.
Yeah, oh yeah, I would say they're definitely really active here, and they're trying to expand further south, further west. I mean, it's growing. And
I guess just aside from competing and training, do you have any other current involvements, or is that about it?
That's about all I can say right now. I had to join the working force again. My 2-year hiatus from working.
Oh yeah, I'm coming up on that 2 year pretty soon.
Hey, but it's been the best thing that I've ever done. I mean, When I got offered the show, I was living on someone's couch. I was working part-time at a kids museum. Like, I was existing. And then had I had a normal job, I wouldn't have been able to just drop it and go do the show. So like doing the show was the beginning of the snowball effect that is the person that exists today, for sure.
Yeah, just like one thing led to another, and you kept the momentum going, and now you're engaged to be married, you got a job, you've been on TV, you're back, your injury's over.
Yeah, well, it's subsided, I guess. I don't think it'll be over. But
it's manageable.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a new spark for jiu-jitsu. Getting my purple belt's one of the biggest accomplishments I've ever had.
And where are you training at down there?
It definitely ignited it.
Oh, sorry. Where do you train at down there? Did I lose you?
Yeah, sort of.
Oh,
I got you. It was hilarious because your face, you were frozen like this.
I lost your video for a second here. I can still hear you though.
Man, that
All
intro.
right, there you are. You're back. All right. What are you using down there?
A Mac.
T-Mobile? Like.
Mac and Time Warner, baby.
Yeah. I'm like, I got a Mac too, but I don't know. I'm not living in the middle of nowhere anymore, so expect our internet's fast on spot.
Yeah, I am living in the middle of nowhere.
What's your gym down there?
Forge Fitness. It's a Hoist Gracie affiliate.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I know he's some kind of Gracie affiliate. You know, there's so many of them.
Man, jiu-jitsu is exploding around this area. I mean, down in Wilmington, here in Raleigh, Charlotte, I mean, it's growing, and the upper belts are growing in numbers. There's a lot of blue belts, a lot of purple belts.
That's kind of the big one, right? Yeah. Like getting those upper, those black belts and brown belts and active competitor purple belts kind of, that's the big one. That shows progress, really, right?
Oh, man, the jump from blue to purple is the hugest hurdle. Once you get that, I mean, it's just like, and I wish more of the upper belts would compete. I mean, there's a lot more upper belts than there are that are competing at these events.
Yeah, right. And I'm glad you bring that up because one thing I think it's guys like it's one of those few sports where there can be at least a reasonable expectation for people's coaches to also participate. And I know there's some black belt instructors that, they're not really known as competitors, but if you have the opportunity and the right matches are there, why not just put it out on the mat, And I think it's just, even if it doesn't go your way, just showing you're out there, putting it all on the line, I think is a good way just to, instill confidence in your students.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and it's if you're not attending open mats and stuff like that, man, you're missing out. You're missing out on free competition, basically. Going to open mats, that's like new competition every Sunday or every Friday night whenever you go to those. And
yeah, right.
We have some pretty good open mats around here. A lot of gyms get together and a lot of different styles. It's pretty cool, but it'd be even cooler to have that medal on the line with more people. You have a 8, 9, 10, 12 man bracket at purple belt. That would be awesome.
Yeah, right. That's kind of the dream, right? I mean, usually it's 3 to 5, with all the different age groups and weights and belts.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is, oh, it just lost me for a second. Oh yeah, I think like you just said, the open mats. Guys can get really comfortable in their own house, and you kind of you don't know necessarily you kind of learn when you're rolling with the same 10 or 12 people, you kind of just learn what everyone's good at and weak at, and you sort of play to that. So it's important to try and diversify your roles, really, if that makes any sense.
It does. I mean,
grammatically correct,
When I was in Korea back in 2004, this is right when I'd really gotten into jiu-jitsu. It was me and one other guy that would roll together. We would watch DVDs and we would learn stuff, and we would roll every single day, just me and this guy. So after a week or two of that, we knew what each other was going to do. So it was just this huge stalemate the whole time.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed, though, is as it gets bigger, they're starting a jiu-jitsu club at my college now, which I'm excited about. But the guy was like, he's like, oh, who are you affiliated with? I was like, oh, well, I was under this guy over here, and he's Carlson Gracie guy, so that basically means by default I'm a Marcelo Alonso guy out here in Seattle, Yeah. And he was like, I think it was before that. He was just like, oh, I train under so-and-so. I never heard of the guy. He's like, yeah, he's a Salo black belt. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't fucking care. It was the kind of just the way he said it. It was he was bragging. I'm like, I don't care. You could train under no one in your garage, but if you could throw it out on the mat and whip my ass, good for you, It's just come on, man. You're going to impress me because you train under a guy who trains under a guy who's a 5-time champion? I got 5 world champions on my fucking speed dial right now. Come on. And it doesn't make me any of a better fighter.
Oh,
You know, I was just like, you're not impressing me because someone else is better. Like, I don't know. It's just something weird. I thought. I don't know if that's something new to this area I'm living in now or not.
no, I think that's prevalent in every single sport. Not just jiu-jitsu. Man, everything's a dick measuring contest.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
He's like, what belt are you? I'm like, I'm still a white belt. He's like, how long am I training? I'm like, a few years. He's like, oh, good, then you could help us out. I'm like, man, this club is going to be pretty weak if I'm the guy helping you out, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, Carlos makes me train as an intermediate for ADCC no-gi, but that's just because there's never enough people in, like, the heavyweight bracket, so it just sort of happens that way. He's like, you're intermediate now. I'm like, really? Thanks a lot. Now I can't go back down.
Can't sham it anymore. Can't sandbag it. Sandbagger.
Yeah, right? I'm the one getting sandbagged is what it is, you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, well, so, all right, let's move on to something a little more serious. Playtime's over. No, I'm just kidding. Don't give me those crazy eyes. I'm sure, you know, yourself, like me, and a number of my friends, you kind of get, you know, being a veteran, you've kind of been put in a weird place with people discussing things like Chris Kyle and American Sniper and all that, you know, and I actually haven't seen it yet. You know, like, you can understand, like, it's just, you know, I think I need to have, like, be with the right people at the right place at the right time. Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen it.
Yeah.
I think Lone Survivor ruined it for me for military movies.
Yeah. I have not seen Lone Survivor yet either. And I think it just has more to do with, you know, guys I know.
Mentality. I get that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I haven't seen that one yet either, and we won't go into that one too much. But I think, you know, one thing I will say about that one is Red Wing was one of those things that we learned so much from going forward. You know.
Right. Yeah, some people learned.
Yeah. You know, I just know it's something it's been analyzed so many times.
Absolutely, but
yeah.
I mean, the bigger picture behind it is the fact that the story that's being told is not the story that happened, and that's the part that it could be put in the same sense of the Chris Kyle story. Maybe we're getting the right story, maybe we're not. But if you're going to put it out there, put out the right story, put out the correct story, or don't put it out at all. That's the biggest thing to me. Don't Hollywood dramatize the story.
Yeah.
These movies are losing touch with what people deal with on deployments. They don't want to know what people deal with on deployments.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. You know, they're not going to make $300 million showing, like, you know, the reality and the mental anguish in, like, the most real light possible without, you know, that, like, tale of overcoming challenges and,
Yeah.
you know, and, like, the bad guy. Like, I almost look, I just watched for the first time 12 Years a Slave, and I was like, that was a really good story. But I actually was like, it wasn't a great movie because it was kind of anticlimactic, and I wanted, like, more build up and drop and build up as I would expect from a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is based on a guy's, you know, autobiography, and from everything I've read, they kept it really in line with the way he told things, and assuming he told things 100% truthfully. And I go, you know what? Props to them for that.
Right.
But that's something that I think it's harder for them to do for us because it's still so fresh. Like, there's a closer connection people have with conflicts that are technically still going on.
Absolutely. You know, and I mean, and I don't know what the cinematic scene was back in World War II or Vietnam, but I have to believe that it was similar. There were war movies coming out at the time, you know, for that generation. And I know I kind of stepped back on my my original thought was like, we're still at war, don't make any movies about military, but that's asinine. That wouldn't happen.
Yeah. They make a lot of money too, even the crappy ones.
They
like
do.
Green Zone, Hurt Locker.
Man, anything military makes a lot of money. Anything. People are utilizing the military like brand or the military mentality, and they're making bank. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, right. The one thing, I mean, without seeing it yet, I think the thing that threw me off was just how much backlash it got, you know? And I'm like, they had to have done something right, because there's not that kind of backlash for the Green Zone, because it's very clear this is just some sort of like, you know, conspiracy OIF movie that's more like action focused, you know. But like they had to have gotten something right in the way they portrayed it to piss so many people off for really what I would account to as no fucking reason. You know, I'm like, that's how I see it, kind of.
That's very true. And you can almost equate American Sniper to just kind of like the pinnacle of Americanism, where people go to see this movie and they see this guy and his struggles and everything, and then like he's the hero. The activists and the people talking all the negative stuff about Chris Kyle and all the stuff that he apparently said and all of this, they are part of the movement. They are part of the I want the Muslim culture to prevail in this situation. I want the American hero to be portrayed as the bad guy, to break their spirits. You know, that's the bald eagle right now. And they want to shoot that thing down.
I've literally never heard it put that way, but that makes so much sense. It's like, okay, you know, I always try to avoid the if you're not with us, you're against us view, but at the same time, it's like, if you're against this, then what are you rooting for? Because in this specific scenario, the thing you're rooting for is the violent Islamic extremists. Like, that's his whole purpose. So I'm like, is that what you're rooting for?
Yeah, I mean, it's smokescreen. That's what it really is. Things that are happening like this are smokescreen, giving people things to argue about in the social media world so they can do this over here. Like, you guys catcall and be keyboard commandos over here about these topics. We're going to go ahead and do some real-world shit in your country while you're not paying attention.
Yeah. I almost equate it to, like, you know, we come from this alternate dimension. The difference is we can see everything that's going on the civilian side, and they just have these little glimpses of what's going on our side. But no matter how much they try and study, they'll never fully understand what it's like to live in that world. Absolutely. The problem is when we come back over, we never fully become one of them either. You know, so it's sort of like you're kind of caught between two worlds, and it's hard to get that perspective, especially because this is the first significant period of warfare that has been an all-volunteer force. There's been no draft, and has gone on continuously. So, I mean, where Vietnam was majority conscript force, and, you know, when we pulled out, it was done. There was a short amount of violence afterwards, and they took over the country. It's like a lot of us feel like there's still a fight that's left unfinished that we signed up for, but, you know, we did our time, and it's like, you know, I mean, there's a party left over there still.
Oh, yeah, I mean, definitely. You know, to see, I feel for the guys. I mean, I wasn't even part of the invasion to Iraq, and I feel for those guys looking at what everybody did on the invasion, on the years to come of just everything that you're asked to do, everything we were asked to do over there. Now we're just supposed to sit and watch it all crumble on the news to bureaucracy and things like that, and slowly watch it come this way. I mean, it's like watching a mountain of trash get dumped in your
and then it affects the river that flows into your town, because whereas with some of these other conflicts, communism prevails and then that's it. But like here, like if violent Islamic extremism prevails, it doesn't stay there. And I think that's the hardest thing a lot of people have, time coming to terms with is like these aren't people who are like, well, once we get you out of Iraq, we're good. We're just going to deal with Iraq and fix Iraq. No, they're going to fuck up Iraq even more than as much as we're accused of doing, and then spread that shit further. The fucking King of Jordan's flying sorties to go bomb ISIS right now. That's how fucked up it is.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking the things that we left there, rebuilding them, and using them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I went on a good rant at one point. I forget what they were saying, like Obama created ISIS or something. I was like, no, do you know the history of ISIS? And they're like, oh, and I was like, no, before that it was ISI, just in Iraq. Before that it was Al-Qaeda in Iraq. Before that it was fucking JTJ, which was led by Zarqawi, who was, he met up with bin Laden in '89, but he wasn't really in tight with bin Laden because he was seen as like a little bit even like crazier than bin Laden, so it's like, because he wanted to overthrow Islamic governments, which at the time Al-Qaeda was like, that's not really what we're focusing on. So I'm like, they literally traced their fucking lineage all the way back to the 80s when he started an anti-Jordanian monarch fucking group, that then spread into Iraq long before we ever got there. And a good buddy of mine pointed out, like, how many Americans know what a caliphate is? Probably less than 1 in 10. But they all know what the Soviet Union is. Yet we haven't had a Soviet Union in 25 fucking years. Like, what is wrong with the education of people that they don't know what a caliphate is?
Yeah. I mean, if it's not popping up on your Facebook feed.
Let's just start flooding people's Facebooks.
Yeah, I mean, put it right in their faces, man. I can't sit here and sit up on a soapbox because I fall into it too, man. It's a technological world. Everything has got us zoned in, and everybody's situational awareness is zero. I'm incredibly guilty of it, and I need to stop because it's going to happen. I mean, people are in these little bubbles, man, and they're about to get popped. And it's going to be a really crazy time.
I almost want to, I'm so addicted to my iPhone, but, I want that new fucking BlackBerry, because I'm like, no, I just want something that takes photos, has a little internet, and does messages, but, I feel like I'd be so much more productive without this fucking thing, but I'm addicted to it. Hang on. Hey, shut up!
That was the dog.
I got neighbors whose dogs fucking bark at nothing, and they're never home.
Bad neighbors.
Bad neighbors. That's when you live in a downtown apartment in a dog-friendly building. That's just one of the things that comes with it. So I can't complain.
Has your partner got a letter or a number?
It's got a number. I'm above ground. It's not that bad.
That's good. Hey, man, I can't talk, man. I lived on someone's couch for 9 months, buddy.
Yeah, when my bitch of an ex kicked me out, I was living on my buddy's couch pretty much for a couple months till I got this place. So, I'm just being bitter. I mean, I was a douchebag. She's a bitch. We'll leave it at that. But at least.
All right.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it later. But all right, what else is going on? What do you want to talk about? I feel like I ran out of ideas.
I don't know, man. Life.
Life's going good for you, though.
It is, man. I cannot complain. I'm doing construction, which for me is a good thing. I've been doing that my whole life, and I got out of it, and I was trying to avoid it for so long, and Jiu-Jitsu actually linked me up, man. It's a guy that goes to Force Fitness and he rolls, and just talking one day, and one thing led to another. I got a freaking awesome job, which I really needed, and I'm using skills that I've had my entire life, and it feels good. And my training is pretty consistent. Only thing that's not so balanced in my life right now is that that Carissa is deployed. She gets back at the end of this month. And,
so close. Or at least it's the shortest month of the year, right? Of any months to be the end of, this is the best one.
Yeah, we're actually meeting in Seattle. She's flying in from Dubai. I'm flying from here to Seattle, and we're meeting and going to her brother's wedding in Idaho. So she didn't even get to come home.
All right. Don't tell me here. Tell me what day. Like, text me later the details of when you're going to be here. How long are you going to be in town for in Seattle? Like a day or two?
Just a hop. We're just a layover. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, never mind then. I won't interrupt your reunion. I was saying if you're going to stick around for a couple days.
Probably not a good time to meet up.
Yeah, if you were going to be here for like a night or two, we'll hook it up.
Yeah. I'll be out that way. I'll definitely be out that way before too long. Carissa's actually from Portland or McMinnville, and I've been out there twice already, and I can't wait to go back. Oregon is absolutely beautiful. I'm hoping the next time we go, I can take my kids with me.
That'll work, because I'm living in Tacoma right now, so I'm just less than an hour south of Seattle, but I'm only like 3 hours north of Portland. Well, yeah, just let me know when you're in the Northwest, and we'll fucking set something up when it's longer than a layover, get the rental car, and drive to Idaho.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm stoked for that, man. So yeah, everything's great, man. I can't complain one bit.
Yeah. Now, when during your hiatus and after you got out, this is one thing like I found with myself and a couple other people. Did you feel like you needed a mission, and did the operatives help kind of satisfy that so you could move on?
I think so. I mean, I've been struggling with kind of formulating what to call how I feel or how I've felt since I got out, and I think it's good to put it in a sense that for me, and this could be the case for a lot of veterans. I actually, and not just veterans, people that have been in an institution or something so structured for a long time. When they stop doing that, they have separation anxiety. They have this way that they've been doing things for so long. And in the military, your bubble is so small. If I only do this, if I just do this, I'm good. Everything else is taken care of. Oh, I'm sick. Doctor comes in. Oh, I'm this. Like, the food's made for me already? Cool. I don't even have to cook. Like,
yeah, right? Right?
This institutionalization happens, and you get out, and it's not there. And the real world is hard. It's really hard. And all of a sudden, you don't have that nice routine anymore, but also you start going to these jobs, and you realize none of these people think the way that you do. None of these people have the same work ethic as you. And that's not saying every civilian's a bad worker.
Or every veteran has this view, but there's a lot of us that share that.
And that's been a big issue for me, of just not having that safety net, really. And contracting, when I was working for Triple Canopy, that satisfied that. I wish I had have done that a little longer, but life got in the way of that one big time. But it's easy to see how people get caught up in contracting. Life is incredibly easy as a contractor. Other than wanting to be home and wanting to hang out with friends and people you love,
the money is so good too.
Oh, the money! You wake up, you eat, you work, you watch a movie, or you work out, or you read books. You do whatever, and then you go to sleep. Rinse, repeat. Nothing else. Most of the time, you don't even drive on a deployment. You're walking everywhere.
Right? Yes, that's exactly it. Helicopters are taking you places. Fucking MRAPs are driving you places. I don't think I got behind the wheel one fucking time in my last OEF deployment, at all.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully I was on
once for MRAP training, but I never fucking drove the thing.
And I'm thankful that I was on a mobile security team with Triple Canopy. We got to drive around, I got to fly around in a Huey with the ambassador. That was amazing. But it was a good time, and that's that draw. People get stuck in that, and it's when you get out of the military, and like you said, there's not everybody's going to think this way.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to feel this, but in the same, not every civilian doesn't have the same work ethic. There's tons of people out there that are really hard workers, but I think it's more of the fact that every single day you have to think about so much stuff, and you haven't had to do that for so long that it becomes incredibly difficult.
Yeah, or you're also used to everyone else like thinking at least within a certain parameter that you run into people who are like, well, we do things this way, and you're like, you mother, you know,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like little things that you're like, man, if I was still in, I'd rip your asshole right now, but I can't do that, so I kind of want to like do something else to you right now, but like I can't do that either, and you're just sort of like on edge. And I think there's a lot of civilians that mean well and want to help, but it's like kind of like I said earlier, it's so hard for them to relate or connect that, you know, I mean, the way I look at it is like everyone's like, well, how do we help? How do we support? Or I support. And I'm like, no, here's what we want. We don't want your thanks. We don't want your praise. I don't want your charity. I want your acceptance, and I want your respect. And if I can have those two things, like, you know, you don't need to understand why I'm different or why I think the way I do or why I do the things I do. Just accept that that's how I am, the way I accept you or I accept anyone else in their lifestyle, and then we'll do a lot better.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the way to look at it for sure. I had something to say, but I forgot it.
That's all right. You're under an influence, possibly.
But yeah, I mean it's just very difficult in that sense. That was a struggle for me, work wise. I couldn't stand the thought of hourly wage because everything I did was at such a high input, and I don't know if that was just me, you know, but I always felt like I was always the one getting the shaft because I would turn a 6-hour or 4-hour job into a 1.5-hour job.
Yeah, right. You're like, I'm done. What do I do now?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people like sit and sweep the same sawdust pile for an hour, and I'm just like, man, I want to go home. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, go home when the job is done. Junior guy takes out the trash, and we're fucking split.
Yeah, I mean, it drove me insane. I used to me and my dad built a custom house right when I got out of the military. We moved back to North Carolina, down to the beach. Me and my dad spent 8 months building my house for me. I did the whole thing top to bottom. We moved into it, and then me and him went straight into a custom house. And it was, I had this helper. He was a college kid, and I would have these tasks to do, and I knew that they would take like 3 hours or 4 hours, half a day. If we worked at a good pace, we could get them done in half a day. And I would tell him, man, all we're doing today is this. Whenever we get done, that's when we're off. If we get off at 12, you're paid till 5. If we get off at 7, you're paid till 5. It's on you. And every single time, man, 5 o'clock, we'd be there working. Because he didn't want to step up the game, man. He just wanted to. Yeah. But if I'd have told him, if you get done by 12, we can get off, he'd have flown through it.
Right, of course. There's an incentive to it. I remember a friend of mine, she was telling me how, like, a bunch of her friends, like, work in large corporations and in, offices, and they were like, they're getting training now about how to, like, communicate and manage generation wires. And she's like, like millennials, basically. And, she's not a lot older than me, but she's kind of on that tail end of X, where we're kind of on, like, that, like, first end of millennial, and I don't even really identify with that generation, unfortunately. And one thing I always say is, like, you can't blame. Everyone's like, oh, these millennials, they think all this. I'm like, yeah, but you can't blame them for any of the problems with America because they're not the ones that caused it or made any decisions. They're the ones that have to inherit it. But it made me think that, when I go on job interviews and they say, what do you bring to the table? I'll be like, well, you know, you don't have the same problems with me that you will have with someone else in my same age demographic who is not a veteran. I guarantee it. Like, you can treat me like a human being and a man and expect work out of me and not have to worry about my delicate sensibilities.
Yeah.
That's a plus.
Nothing says good job like a firm open palm slap on the behind.
Yeah, I'm just like, I want to tell every veteran, you know, who's in those late 20s, early 30s, and I'm like, when you go to interviews, they say, what sets you apart? Be like, I guarantee my work ethic is greater than any other 29, 31, 26-year-old you have looked at, period. Yeah. You know, I can prove that too, you know?
Get up on the desk, do some elevated push-ups.
Yeah, all right, well, we're not getting crazy with it, all right? No one's doing any fucking push-ups, let's be honest.
No, but you know, back to the separation anxiety and stuff. I've definitely jiu-jitsu has been a big help to that. And I mean, and I personally attach myself to jiu-jitsu. There's tons of martial arts out there that people have found to be their kind of
course, yeah.
Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And jiu-jitsu played a huge part in that. I mean, at the very pinnacle of a massive like anger issue, about a year and a half after I got out, where I mean, it was to the point I was calling the VA like, I'm gonna be hitting my kids and wife if you don't get somebody to talk to me. And they basically told me, you should call the suicide hotline and take a suicide. That was their treatment for me. I just went, well, I don't need help anymore. Click. And fix the problem.
Right, there's such a fucking disparity in the way they help people, and we'll get into that another day, but yeah.
But so, jiu-jitsu helped out with that. I was training a little bit down at Evolution in Wilmington, and I could, and then I had this group of dudes that would come over my house and train in my garage, and it was just this, like, I would hear them bang on the garage door.
Nice.
They had dedication, you know? They had esprit de corps, man. They all hang out together now still. They all train together, and I have that in my jiu-jitsu gym now. Like, the guys that I train with, they're brothers to me. They're sisters to me, the girls that train there and everything. It's just become this awesome family of people that are holding themselves to a higher standard of something.
Yeah.
And people
it gave you a purpose and leadership and people to take care of, which I think when you're leaders and, you know, when you're like those, you know, mid-rank NCO or petty officers, like, you get, I think I tell my buddy, one of the things I miss the most is leading sailors. Like, I think there's fewer greater joys that I've experienced in my lifetime than leading sailors. And I'm like, I can't do that anymore. There's no fucking sailors to lead.
You just love them seamen, don't you?
I fucking knew you were going to say that when you were like, oh, I saw that little crooked smile in your fucking face, and I was like, oh, he's going to fucking make some semen joke. I know it. I fucking know he is. Hey, no one ever fucking made me do any goddamn push-ups after boot camp except twice a year, all right? That's how I know you're Army. When you're like, oh, yeah, do some push-ups, man. That doesn't fly. You'll have a seaman tell a chief to go fuck himself if he tells me to do some push-ups, and everyone will laugh and no one will care.
That's funny. Everybody just looked like, what?
Push-ups? Get the fuck out of here.
You got a work order for that?
Write me up. Make it happen, you know?
My stress card. I've got my stress card.
Wait a minute. I never had a stress card. I heard about those, though. I've heard about them.
Oh, man, one of the many rumors that nobody's ever seen, but everybody's...
You know what I wanted to get a hold of at one point? When I had like 7 or 8 guys working for me, I was like, man, who do I know that works at Great Lakes at Recruit Training Command? I want to get a hold of some fucking demerit shits. That just would have been hilarious. Just start handing out these for the most ridiculous things ever. Be like, hey, you're fucking making a stupid face today. Here's a demerit shit.
Demerit chips. Man, they could use some demerits in the military.
It's such a pain to get people in trouble, though, you know? Unless you're enlisted. It's really easy to get in trouble if you're enlisted.
Or if you're in special operations.
Mm. True. The thing I got in trouble for my second NJP in '09, I basically did almost the exact same thing in Afghanistan in 2011, and my AOB commander was like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Whoa, hey, easy, Rick. I don't know." And he was like, "Oh, I talked to his colonel already. He asked me how I wanted to punish that guy." And I was like, "Oh, just let him off easy. No harm, no foul. I didn't mean, that LT. He was just having a bad day." Whereas the same thing in the fleet you do, and it's like, "What the fuck did you do?"
Yeah. You're in the brig.
Yeah, I have gotten every fucking form of NJP punishment possible except 3 days bread and water, and I wish I had just to say I've done it.
Wow.
And I still got 10 years with honorable discharge, so those are fucking stripes on my back is how I look at it.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
That brings up a good point, though. You talked about living in our bubble, but when you work in that other world, it's like you're a bubble within a bubble. So, like, that military bubble is less than 1% of the population, but that other bubble is 1% of that less than 1%. And, even though you have people from two different services, you're going to have more in common with each other than, pretty much anyone else in that bigger bubble.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the communities within the military are incredible. I mean, just Facebook alone for the connection of all different types of generations and people, it's amazing. I mean, there's a breakfast that happens in like 5 or 6 different cities called Perpetuating the Ranger Legacy, and guys from regiment, from all over the place, Rangers get up, meet on Sundays and eat breakfast, and it's just a good time. Like there's one in Fayetteville that they have. It seems like I'm always out of town when it's happening.
Of course, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
but that's still amazing. Like, let's go get some fucking eggs and shoot the shit.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm trying to establish something like that here in Raleigh, because you've heard this statistic: 22 vets a day. You've heard this.
It's an epidemic. It really is. And I hate that more people are not realizing that.
And they're not going to, and it's okay. This is one of those things that we have to police our own. We have to look out for each other. And the reason that these numbers are happening is because of our pride. Pride to talk to people about this stuff. Pride to open up and tell the truth. And be honest, man. You're taught for so long to suppress everything. Don't say anything. You're not sick. Don't go to sick call. Like, you're good.
Yeah.
Good.
You're a malingerer. That's it.
Yeah. Like, stop going to sick call. You pansy. Blah blah blah. And so it continues into your life. Like, I'm depressed and
submit other politically correct insult.
Yeah. I mean. And we have to police our own. Like, I've been trying to establish a group here in Raleigh of active veterans, guys that like to climb or hike or things like that. Yeah. Because the common trend for some of these things is, let's go meet at a bar. I don't want to meet at a bar.
Yeah.
Like,
I like having people to go to the bar with, but I don't want to always go to the bar.
Right. Or let's make this a barbecue at the house. We can do the same thing, and we don't have to speak it in a huge, different volume, or like stuff like that. But it's more of, I find incredible enjoyment in long-distance backpacking, and there is some of the best backpacking loops in North Carolina here on the East Coast.
Yeah, you've got the AT running right through there, right?
Yeah. My newest favorite spot is a place called Linville Gorge. They call it the Grand Canyon of the East. It is absolutely unbelievable. You can camp anywhere in the gorge. The views of the gorge are outstanding. It's got climbing. There's a huge river. Me and the guy that I went with last time, we found a cave to stay in where somebody had built a stone house.
That's awesome. Here's a fucking cave. That's as paleo as you can fucking get. You little non-milk drinking little pansies, all right? Go sleep in a goddamn cave and tell me you're paleo. All right, then I'll listen to you working in your office 9 to 5 doing CrossFit and not drinking milk like some sort of weirdo.
Okay, there's our CrossFit rant.
I'm good buddies with Epic Beast Mode, so you know.
Oh man, just hearing that name makes me cringe. Epic Beast Mode.
Yeah. He's partners with Drywall, so I feel like
That's funny.
here's my CrossFit rant for the day. Whenever I bring up paleo, I feel like I have to also bring up CrossFit and just sort of tie the two together, right?
Yeah. This have to happen. It has to happen that way.
It has to. Period. You know. I mean, granted, I worked out for the first time today in like 3 months, but that doesn't matter.
Squared away.
Doesn't matter. Hey, it's an ad hominem to accuse what I'm saying as being incorrect because I'm the one saying it. So regardless of who's saying it, it doesn't make the statements any less true.
You ain't saying it, but you saying it.
Yeah. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start a Facebook page, and we're gonna come up with a clever name, and we'll have it all in different cities, and it'll be like that kind of shit. Backpacking, fucking
I mean,
whatever.
I have a little group called Triangle Veterans, but the hardest part is getting veterans out into these things. Like, there's tons of people that are in this Triangle Veterans group, and
no one shows up.
Nobody shows up to anything, man. Veterans, get out there, meet other people, meet your other veterans that live in your area. There's thousands of us now.
Yes. No, there's literally millions of OIF, OEF veterans. Literally.
They're everywhere. And even for the special operations guys, man, we're an even smaller group of people. And that, I mean, it's just, get out there, man.
And that's probably it. Like, there's a lot of veterans organizations, but there's still a lot of old guard running it. Like, one buddy was like, well, you know, he rides motorcycles, so it was really easy for him to connect with people because there's a lot of veterans motorcycle clubs. Yeah. You know, but it's hard to connect with people who've done something that you've done when you live in that sub-bubble, you know. If you're an operator or tech or, you know, regardless, your email was at socom.mil.mil. So, like, finding those people is so much harder when you move away from where everyone you knew lived, you know?
Right. I'm sure, man.
There's got to be a way. We'll figure it out. We'll think about it. We'll brainstorm.
Keep hope alive.
I like to do it like this.
Yeah, I can't even turn my arm out.
you're too hurt right now. That's it. Is that your injury? Is it shoulder? Is it a rotator cuff? Or?
Oh man, it's my neck. Like that, my whole back. I'm between jiu-jitsu, jumping, humping, tons of weight. My back is feeling the injuries now, man. I compressed a pretty good amount of height being in the military. I think I lost like an inch of height and compressed and kind of stretched back out afterwards, and I think it squashed a lot of things, and now those injuries are appearing. But
you realize your body's not able to absorb and recover from the pain as much, and things take a little longer, and things are a lot worse than they used to be. Yeah. One thing, my buddy Matt Gosney, he was on, I don't know if you heard this episode or not, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast with Mark Goddard and Jason Hall, who wrote American Sniper back in like November.
Yeah.
He lives out here in Spokane, and one thing like him and Mark were saying was that, like, aside from just the actual TBI from, you know, the roadside IED, it's just all the range time and all the bumping and rolling that you can accrue over the time of your career, of a 4, 6, 8, 10, 20-year career, that can just do untold damage. So even if the initial TBI didn't cause the most of it, it could be that one little fucking speed bump in the road that sends you over the cliff, you know?
I mean, I definitely see the research and the broadening of PBI's category expanding very soon. And it's going to be kind of a double-edged sword, just like PTSD was. Everybody's throwing the PTSD card up now to get extra benefits, and it's clogging the system for the people that actually do have PTSD. Whereas you start opening the door for, oh man,
I want some testosterone.
Yeah, I'm having short-term memory loss. My neck hurts. Like, oh, you have a TBI. Like, here, have all this stuff. It's going to clog up the system for people that really do have it. So I hope the research kind of sticks around, and they really get some telltale. If you have this, this, and this, this is a good sign that you might have a TBI.
Well, fortunately for the hormone replacement, like they don't the symptomatic part has a role in it when you think about PTSD and depression, but the biggest catalyst to like endorsing that treatment is your lab results. So it's something you can't fake. Like I can't fake that I have low testosterone.
Sure.
That's the given. And I also have these other PTSD symptomatic issues or TBI PTSD related issues. Then it kind of gives them a whole. It really comes down to that more individualized medicine, which I see 21st century medicine going towards. This whole shotgun approach that we have is a very 20th century, which sounds crazy to think that that's archaic now, but it's 2015. We're a decade and a half into the next century. 20th century mentality is no longer the way to go to think about the future.
Oh, yeah.
That's my rant. That's all I got. That's my rant. I don't want to go too deep into it.
That was good.
That's all I got for that. I don't
watch the news tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't want to hit it too heavy. I've had that conversation a number of times, and I've gone really heavy with it, so I'm going to keep it light.
Yeah, keep it light.
Are
light
you
Thursday night?
Are you being treated by the VA right now, or?
I went to an appointment, and I kind of told them everything that I had going on with my back and everything, and they were like, here, take some naproxen. It's inflammation. I was like, thank you. I'm out of here. I will say I've been using, a friend of mine got me involved, and my fiance got involved. He kind of turned me on to these essential oils, like lavender, peppermint.
Sounds like voodoo, motherfucker.
Hey, I'll say it works, man. If you get peppermint oil, like therapeutic grade peppermint oil, and if you have like an achy bone or something, and you put a drop of and rub it where that ache is, man, it's like night and day.
Peppermint oil.
Peppermint oil, yep, and lemongrass oil. That's another one. That's like BioFreeze. You get that nice, awesome feeling when you use BioFreeze. We'll multiply that by like 30, and that's lemongrass. But you use them for everything, man. I use them for everything. I have lemon and lime oils that I put into water that I absolutely loathe drinking plain water. So got to put lemon or lime in it.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a perfect segue. I'm fucking loving these Onnit fucking Alpha Brain and Shroom Tech and fucking New Mood products. I kid you not. Like, I didn't really notice a difference when I took them, but then when I stopped taking them for a week, I felt like fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I've had the Alpha Brain, the New Mood, and I've been using the Stron Bone and Joint, which is their strontium, like glucosamine product that they have. I did do quite a bit of research on strontium and the benefits of like bone repair. I messed my elbow up really bad a couple years ago. I fell on a skateboard and fell like right onto it. And
what? 30 years old. What are you doing skateboarding? Come on.
I used to park down the street from the museum, and I would take my longboard skateboard and ride it down the road to the museum. And this one day, I had a backpack on, and I had a cup of coffee in my hand, and it was kind of wet outside, and I was coming around this corner, probably doing like 30 miles an hour. And my board came out from underneath of me, and this is in morning traffic. There was 2 stoplights filled with cars, and they just see me go straight down, boom, right on my elbow. I luckily bounce up, and like start running and grab my board.
Start running. So I'm not blocking traffic. I get the fuck out of the way.
I played it off so well, and I got to the museum and went in the first aid room, and my elbow was just like hamburger. I was, oh man,
that was the elbow that wasn't holding the coffee, right?
No, that was my coffee went out.
Okay, good. I thought you were gonna be like, oh, and I reached up to save the coffee, but slammed my elbow down because that made sense at the time.
Man. Every single bit of my weight came down on the elbow when I slid out on the board. Like, it took all 170 pounds of me onto the ground. Bam! You can feel, like, right in here, you can feel all types of brittle and just, like, broken bone fragments.
Oh, my God. Just all the little shards and fucking cartilage and everything just jammed up in together. Oh.
But between doing the mobility stuff with my hands and wrists and all that kind of stuff, and taking the strontium and fish oil, it's helped out a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I was gonna ask if you're doing the fish oil too.
When I remember, that's another part. I forget to take these pills a lot, so
yeah.
Don't use my recommendation as a this product works.
Yeah, well, I've got the I do the Alpha Brain, and I'll take 2 or 3 on days when, like, I know I'm going to need my mind. Otherwise, I either just won't take it or I'll take, like, 1 or 2. Yeah. So I popped 1 this morning and then 2 before we started here, so I'd be sharp. And I do the New Mood before bed with some melatonin.
Yeah.
And then I've taken the Shroom Tech Immune, and I think it's actually helping. Like, I usually get a cold this time of year out here in this fucking damp weather, and I'm good to go. But I'm also supplementing like 2,000 IUs of vitamin D, vitamin C, fish oil, zinc, because I chronically masturbate, and what else? B12 complex right now. So I was doing good for a couple weeks, took a week off, felt like garbage, plus ate some junk food.
Yeah, buddy.
And then I'm a couple days back into it, and I'm like fucking feeling charged and energized. And I'm like, I don't know which one it is, but that cocktail's working real well for me right now.
I like it, man.
Yeah. I'll share it with you.
Cocktail.
I'm going to text you the ingredients. I'm not going to, like, mail you some pills and think no one's going to have a problem.
Hand it to me through the screen. The files are inside the computer.
Where are they?
We have derailed.
All right, well, I'm good if you're good. I don't want to take up too much of your night. I know you got your kids. You want to spend time with them?
They're soundly sleeping, but it is definitely...
Okay, good. Then never mind. I'm going to keep you up all night. That's how this is going to work.
This is definitely...
Take off your damn shirt.
Whoa. It's turned into a podcast.
Saying. It's there, it's there.
Putting it on the table. That'll be for our Friday night podcast.
Yeah. Tomorrow night, tune in to see me and Bryce bro down. That's how
Tune in to see me and Justin play gay chicken.
That is a SOCOM game that has been around since the beginning of time and will continue to always be.
I think that's a military game across the board.
Yeah, but do you guys draw penises on everything?
Everything. We had a standing rule in Korea in the barracks that you could get drunk as you wanted, as long as and if you made it into your room, 50% of your body had to be in your room. You would not get messed with. But if you somewhere else outside of your room, you were getting messed with. And one dude, we measured him with a measuring tape, and he was like 45% in his room. So
now, how did you measure it? Like length of the body, or like proportion of like head to toe, 50%?
Yeah, length of the body.
Okay, that's a fair, even understandable way to measure it. If you can make it to the door and fall down, you're gonna be 50% in. But if you fall down and start crawling, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure, because some person's just gonna come and be like, "Let me put my boot in your face and push you back out."
Yeah, that's why you just lean on the door. You lean on the door,
Boom.
you open it, and you fall into your room.
Exactly. There's a strategy to this. There's a strategy to everything in the military.
Always.
There's a PQS. Did he get his PQS checked off to, like, I can get my body 50% in, and that's he didn't get it all signed off right?
Nope, and he got colored completely.
I found out penises on everything is more of an East Coast team thing, because I mentioned it to my buddy who was with the West Coast teams, and he was like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And I'm like, oh, I guess you guys don't draw penises on everything in the West Coast teams. I'm sorry, I'm the asshole. You know? Thank you for embarrassing me.
So insensitive.
Right? Yeah. You know, you couldn't just participate and make me feel better about myself and draw some penises on some stuff? No. All right, well, we'll have to do this again sometime. Hopefully you can make it out here.
I'll come up with the topics next time.
Deal. Yeah. We haven't talked in a while, so I just kind of had, like, your Facebook feed to go off of. You know?
Active. It's been pretty silent over the last 6 months, but it's going to pick up again.
No, I'm creepy stalker type, so I always find shit, all right? I know what you're up to. That's all.
Good. Up to awesome things, man.
Like any good S2 guy should. That's all. All right. Yeah, just let me know, man. Let me know, brother. Whenever you want to do it, I'm always game. Whenever you're out here, let me know. We'll set something up. We'll go hiking or go train and whatever it is, man. We'll think of something fun.
Whatever we can do is going to be an adventure.
Exactly. That's the key. We'll fucking record that shit and we'll make a little video. It'll be real nice, real classy. You'll see.
I like it.
Just don't show your grandma. All right. Well, I'm Justin Fuller. This is Bryce Mahoney. Don't turn off your shit.
Signing off.
No, don't sign off yet. I'm gonna end the broadcast.
I know.
But then you stay here. All right.
I got it.
All right. Once again, we're brought to you by the MMAcorner.com, your home for all things MMA, reminding you to keep living the corner lifestyle, and ADCC North America Federation. And hopefully we will have a second trials coming up sometime in the next few months. We're looking at a couple locations. I'll let you know as soon as I know, and we lock it in. There's a couple deals working. But ideally we should have a second trial, so we should be sending at least 2 people from America or North America to the Worlds in Brazil for the ADCC Championship, the Olympics of grappling, the fucking greatest in the world, like some Jeff Monson, Josh Barnett, all these motherfuckers. They all compete ADCC. Why aren't you competing ADCC? Bryce?
I don't like no-gi.
All right, I love no-gi. I don't like people fucking grabbing my sleeves and shit and then tying me up and I don't know what the fuck just happened, all right? I'm fucking 225-pound fat ass, all right? I like the no-gi. I get all sweaty and slippery and I just slip through shit and they don't know what the fuck to do. And it's hard to find training partners as big as me. So I always have a good time in the no-gi.
Tough to find an A4 gi, buddy.
Depending on the brand, I'm an A3, okay?
A3.
It's all about the brand, okay? These bad boy gis, these A3s, they fit me great. They make them big. It's awesome.
A bad boy gi is even better.
It was used, all right? Antoine was selling his used bad boy gi, and I was like, this is the greatest fitting gi I've ever felt. So 225-pound fit, you know, MMA fighter black guy, gi fits me pretty good.
I like it, man.
I don't even have to tie the strings to keep the pants on.
Excellent. That's like spandex.
All right. Other than that, that's all I got. Just tune in next time. I'll probably be joined by someone tomorrow or this weekend. I feel like doing a podcast marathon. So thanks again to Bryce for doing this last minute. I know Glory 19 is tomorrow night on Spike TV in Hampton Roads, Virginia. So if you're in the area, check it out. If not, turn on Spike TV and watch some high-class level kickboxing. Sorry, I've had a couple cocktails. And there's some local Hampton Roads fighters fighting on that. Cedric Smith will be fighting for the amateur military title. And Brian Collette's fighting on that card. And I think they got a heavyweight title bout. Yeah. I know Joe Schilling's fighting on that motherfucker. So it's going to be a good card. Till then, keep it classy.
Peace out.